Hey, Dr. Brett Brimhall here from Arizona. Really excited to be with you. I want to kind of tell you a little bit about my story, how I ended up here at LifeVantage. For the last 25 plus years, I've taught and trained physicians all over the world. I grew up in a household where basically my dad we didn't even know what a sugar bowl was in my house. Like, we ate super clean, like that's just what we did. Like, I mean, all we ate was vegetables basically and super clean foods. And so my whole life has been trying to live as clean as possible, as healthy as possible, to be able to feel and function well, because I was seeing patients that were sick and seeing really from all over the world. The last 25 years of training physicians was really part of several companies that my dad had basically formulated the nutrition for, and I would teach and train physicians how we actually practiced and would use nutritional supplementation for that. So we've been a part of creating over 200 different nutritional supplements, right? Why so many? Because we're really trying to be specific to the patient, right? To make sure that individual got exactly what they need. And we studied everything from lab testing to clinical research to really find out what was the best thing on the market to use. Well, when I introduced to LifeVantage, I was literally doing that. I was still training physicians. It's kind of a time in my life that was kind of a weird spot. Back in 2008, my mom passed away from cancer. I was still practicing, but I had multiple people ask me, is what you do doesn't work. I mean, so how did your mom pass away from cancer if what you guys are doing, you're treating all these people? And it really kind of shook my world a lot to really kind of come to heart, like, is what I do working? And it made me, not question what I did, but make sure I was sure on what I was doing. Because I just have people come in and all the time they say, like, you're my last resort. You're my last resort. You've got to help me, right? And so that puts a lot of pressure on you, but especially on making sure that I did exactly what was right. So, and that happened no matter who it was. So literally, I was introduced to LifeVantage multiple times by different people, but I wasn't open to looking at it. People ask me all the time, well, how do you present this to doctors? Well, you're their friends, you're kind, but you ask them questions, you wait for the right timing. It came back to a phrase my dad taught me all my life. He says, the questions you ask determine the answers you get. And the way LifeVantage is formulating products is vastly different than anybody else out there. We're not trying to be a better supplement. That is not our goal. Our goal is to literally use new technology. So when the ABC video was aired, and this idea that the body can manufacture its own things if it's activated in the right way, with a brand new concept, right? So we're competing in a space that most people don't know there's even a game going on yet. And so what we have available to us right now is to not guess. In medicine, whether it's natural medicine or it's allopathic medicine, most of the thing we're taught and trained in school, we're taught to look at symptoms, manage the symptoms, not manage the systems. So we're going to work from a totally different perspective of looking at how do we manage systems versus symptoms. So when I'm going to kind of focus on the product. That's what I get to do a little bit, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about why I've chosen to do the business down the road. But bottom line is that I had to first build a belief in the product. When I started getting results doing this versus what I was doing, I knew what we had was real and different, right? So I want you to have super solid belief in the products that you have and what they're capable of doing, but they only work if you put it in your body, all right? So this NRF2 technology, and we talk about the whole idea of activating the body. What does that really mean? It's called a transcription factor. What that means is for the body to fix something, it has to get a signal. That signal is that transcription factor to tell the body to produce certain things. So we know the NRF2 literally causes the body to produce antioxidants. What are those? Those are the good guys, right? These are the things that clean the body's cells up. And you'll hear out there in the space, you'll hear about things like glutathione and superoxide dismutase. You'll hear about these big molecules, and you'll tell about people trying to take them. You're hearing right now big out in the industry, people taking what's called liposomal glutathione. Right? We know from the testing that's been done that when you take Protandim NRF2, it literally upregulates the glutathione inside the cell by 300%. So do you want to try to take it, or do you want your body to make it? Right? That's the difference in the concept we're looking at. And in order to do that, you have to know that there are switches, and those switches are literally just like a light switch. You got to turn it on, and then you can see what you're doing. So imagine walking in your house, and your house is dark. If you don't turn that switch on, you're going to run into something. So when I go through each of the products, NRF2, Protandim. Protandim is the brand, guys. There's Protandim Nerf 1, there's Protandim Nerf 2, right? And there'll be future things that tie into this Protandim family, right? But the idea is we're going to activate these huge systems in the body that literally allow our body to perform like it's supposed to, right? The cool thing about our body is it wants to get better. It actually always does get better unless there's a reason why it's not, right? And most of the time it's because the body's not getting what it needs and it's not having the switches turn like they're supposed to, or the system being overwhelmed. We are not treating, curing, or preventing anything. What we're doing is we're asking the question, if the body's trying to get better, is there anything that I can possibly do to enhance how that works, right? When you go into Sprouts or Whole Foods and you guys say, oh, I need an antioxidant like vitamin C, right? You're going to have 50 choices, right? So when you look at those 50 choices, why are they all priced so differently? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So the reason why they're priced differently is because they're different quality. So when you're choosing a supplement, you need to ask, what are you using it for? And where am I getting it from? What's the source, right? At the same time, what's the benefit going to be, right? And how long should I be on it, right? All the time you're going to have those questions. So when we're looking at the Vitality Stack, and literally this morning, I got up at 3 in the morning because I was coming here, but I was also just excited about what was going through my head. Guys, had breakfast, took my Vitality Stack, right? Why? Of all the supplements that my dad and I created, 200 of them, right? I don't take those 200 anymore. Why? Because technology has changed. The game has changed in what we're able to do and what we're able to use, right? And so if you've got physicians out there, and there's over 1,100 medical providers in this company that has seen the products, that's most of the time what got their attention, and now they're doing the business. So when we're talking about the product, you get to choose at what level of biohacking you want to do. So here's how I want you to look at it. What system do you not want to support, right? So in your house right now today, would you rather not have the garbage man come around? Would you rather not have indoor plumbing? Would you rather not have electricity? Or would you rather live in a house made of straw, of bricks, or cardboard? Because those are the choices you're making based upon what level of biohacking you want. So when you look at NRF2, NRF2 is your sanitation department. If you're living, if you're breathing, you're going to make trash. And in order for your body to get that trash out, the sanitation department has to work. That's NRF2, right? We talk about this synergistic effect. So everything that we use in these products, they're natural sources. We know where the sources are from. We know they're clean, so you don't have to guess about that. To have the certifications that we do, that tells you that they're safe, then they're certified, which allows us to be very confident, right, to know that when somebody gets Protandim Nerve 2 this month, it's going to be Protandim Nerve 2 the next month. We don't have to guess if they're going to change the ingredients of their products. They're not. And plus, being a publicly traded company, they don't want to do that. It's going to affect everything, right? So you have the sanitation department, then you have the electricity system. So living in Utah or Arizona, imagine what it would feel like if you didn't have electricity. What couldn't you do? Like, even as simple as it is as just how well you sleep at night. So in Arizona when it's this hot, imagine sleeping without air conditioning, right? Or in Utah when it's super cold, imagine not having heat, right? That's the choice you're making. So the mitochondria, those are powerhouses of your cell. Every city, nation, and community has places that make power. In your body, it's called the mitochondria. So with NRF1, it's a combination of those 5 ingredients that are natural ingredients that combined activate the body's ability to manufacture new powerhouses and get the ones you have working better, right? So instead of looking at the over 20 plus nutrients, vitamins, minerals that mitochondria need to make energy, we're saying, you know what, let's help the mitochondria make new mitochondria so it can make the energy that it needs. I don't know of any other product on the market that's addressing that, all right? Then you come to and that's literally like not having power if they're not working on it. Then let's go to the probiotic, right? When I introduced the probiotic, I'm like, I've been really making probiotics for years. We've had one we've manufactured for years and years. It works super, super well. So when I start looking at this one, guys, it's the technology. So if you type in probiotics, there's hundreds of different probiotics. They're all different price. They all have a different reason why they're better. But the bottom line, the delivery system is king. We're talking about 12 times more potency and deliverability in the ProBio because of the way it's designed, right? So one of the brilliant things that I love about the ProBio is it is time release, right? So the absorbability is 12 times more. So when you take that little pearl, right, it's gonna go throughout your whole intestinal tract, right? And it's gonna digest over the next 6 to 8 hours and get everywhere it should get. You have probiotics in your mouth all the way down to the exit port, right? So every part of your intestinal tract has different probiotics. So doing a time release, we're getting it throughout the whole intestinal tract. On top of that, it's got that Wellamune in it. So one of the misnomers, people think that Wellamune is going to upregulate your immune system. That's not true. Wellamune is going to balance your immune system and actually allow your immune system to function like it needs to. So if it needs to raise up, it can raise up. If it needs to slow down, it can slow down. That regulation is key, and that is true for every pathway in your body. You don't want one system turned on too high all the time. And so the idea of using natural substances, whether it's Nerf 2, Nerf 1, or ProBio, you're supporting those systems so the body can regulate it as it should. And then you throw the last part of the Vitality Stack on there, which is the fish oils, right? And the fish oils are literally the structure of your house, right? So if you want to live in a cardboard box, right, and that you're okay with that in the elements you live in, the environment you're part of, whether that's snow or heat, if you aren't taking fish oil, you literally are affecting the structural components of your cell that is like having a very poor functioning walls and windows of your house. So I want to talk a little bit about the synergistic effect of the Vitality Stack, because the question you have to ask is, what system do I not want to support, right? When it comes to that, so imagine if you're, so I'm just going to choose to just do probiotics. Well, great, you're going to affect one system, right? What if I choose not to do NRF2 activation? Again, then you're having one different system. So the Pro Tandem, what is it? So we talk about tandem like a tandem bike, right? So why don't you imagine you're on a bike, it's got 4 seats, right? And that bike, that's your body, right? That's what you're living life in. That's riding your bike to see things and experience life, and you only have one person pedaling. How fun is that going to be? But what if you could put all 4 people on the bike, all pedaling at the same time together in a synergistic form? So when LifeVantage is creating products, they're not only looking at the synergistic effect that we have on a system like NRF2 activation affecting oxidative stress, but combining it with NRF1 to affect the mitochondrial system and the Super 7 that's coming, guys, all of those are designed to synergistically work together. Now you get to pick and choose which ones you want to support. So for years, my dad and I would do different testing, and we would literally test and find out what products people need. And it was not unusual for people to be on 8 to 15 products, or more. So we wanted to support every system possible for that period of time while we're trying to correct the imbalances that are there. And why are they balanced there? People say, well, it's a hereditary problem. Okay, we get 2 things from our family. We get our habits, and we get our genetics, and both need fixed, right? So if you've got bad habits, it's going to damage your genetics, right? But if you have good habits, it's going to change your genetics. It's going to change what your genes can do, right? So you may not know what's going on inside your body, but you now know what you can do to activate your body. So the choice becomes yours. So for me and my family, what I want to do is I want to tell you that the science is real, right? But my kids really don't care about the science. They really don't. They don't even want to take their supplements sometimes, okay? So what I can do by taking this little Vitality Stack and put it in front of their plate every day, right? And I can have them take their Axio every single day. I know as a parent, I've had something that's super easy for me to do and consistently I can do. It can only take a couple seconds, which we're busy, and I know that I'm supporting those systems. So when you look at all the other products that LifeVantage has created, right? And we go to the Axio and you look at the NRF2 activation for brain, guys, that was made with this question in mind. How do I address brain fatigue? So brain fatigue for some people feels like overwhelm. Some people feel like I don't even want to make a decision. Other people is they can't even get out of bed. Other people is that I can't focus or concentrate. That's what it feels like to them. So when Axio was made, it was made to address brain fatigue. So when you look at those combinations of synergistic ingredients in there, it's designed to do just that. It's to address brain fatigue. And we can go through each one of those ingredients and look at, okay, I can understand why that might help and why that might help and why that might help. But it's not just the ingredient. It's literally that synergistic effect of how they're combined and the effect they've had. So think about it this way, and this is literally true in all the products that LifeVantage has made. When you look at synergy of anything, if you're making anything, whether it's bread or whatever it might be, if you put the right ingredients in the wrong ratios, that's a problem. It's not going to taste the same, and it's definitely not going to affect your body the same. So if you want to guess, great. Go buy your turmeric and your ashwagandha and bacopa individually and try to figure it out, right? I don't want to guess. It took them years and years to develop it, and it's not been tested. So when you're looking at these products, you don't have to. You can take the guesswork out. So if you love the science, great. Dig into the science, right? But dig into what the company created and watch what happens in people's lives. And people ask me all the time, well, how long do I have to be on this? Hey, I always describe people this way. If you're taking supplements, you're going to need the supplements until you don't need them, which means until you change your habits, until you change your behaviors, you're going to need to support your systems, right? So for me, I want to have good habits, but I want to support my systems, right? So with this, it makes it very, very simple. And for me, I will take these forever unless there's new technology that comes out that's better. I've been in this industry really since I was born, but really hard the last 25 years, and I've never seen this type of thing be created, right? So I'm sure there'll be new things coming, but what I love, what LifeVantage is doing, we're literally at the forefront of this, right? You know, when they asked me to be on the medical advisory board, I want to be a part of that because I want to be a part of creating what comes next, right? I want to make sure that we have what we have always, and I want to make sure that we're creating new things that we can tap into that are going to affect my family and your family for years and years to come, right? So when you start looking at the other products, you just think, well, that's a lot of products. It's really not. When I tell you 200 different products my dad and I are part of, it was 200 products. So when I look at what a handful of what LifeVantage had, it's not a whole lot, right? But they're specific to affected systems of the body. So when we start graduating, we look into like the other products, like the skin care, right, and the hair care, which I'm going to grab those right there, okay? I have to admit, I didn't know how to wash my face, okay? Bottom line is, I never washed my face. Like, I shave with shaving cream, right? What I mean, you shower and all that stuff, but literally, I didn't know there was a process, 4 steps to washing your face. So if you're a guy out there, you probably didn't know that either. I knew it just took a lot longer for my wife and my daughter to get ready in the mornings. Like, I didn't realize how many steps there were to, make sure you take care of your face, right? But what I learned was when I started looking at some of the research that LSU put out and what LifeVantage created with the skincare and how it affects the fine lines and wrinkles. And one of the slides I remember seeing is they talked about how they actually shows a picture of the skin cells and what the difference between what happened when you put retinol on it versus when you put the anti-aging cream on, right? So when you look at the skincare, that's that same NR2 activation, but for the skin. So for those people that want to feel younger and function younger, you take the stuff internally. If you want to look the same, you put the external. I haven't used shaving cream in over 4.5 years because I've used the True Science. And I love how it makes my skin feel, and I love what I've seen happen with patients with that. So when you're thinking of this, why skincare? Because most people care more about their skin than they do about their health. I don't quite understand that, but that's how it works. So what is unique about a company like LifeVantage is what do the people want? Because it doesn't matter what do they want. Do you have the True Science? So you look at the studies on the True Science, the skincare, and you watch what happened with fine lines and wrinkles. Well, you get to do that on the outside, right? And who can benefit from that? It's not to cure anything. It's literally to protect those cells, but you're going to see vast changes in people's tissues and skin because they put that NR2 activation. And you take the hair care, same thing. Like, it's brilliant. Right now, there's a big push in the industry of nutrition to have the products be as clean as possible. That's in the skincare, that's in hair care. And when LifeVantage brought these products to market, what you're seeing is they not only made sure the product worked and brought brand new technology to us, right? But they made sure it was clean as possible. So I know many of you have heard of the Think Dirties app, and you'll see that these products rank in a 0, 1, or a 2, 10 being the worst. So on the skincare, I remember when I first started looking at this skincare, I have to admit I didn't start using it myself at the beginning, right? And I remember people saying you got to be a product of the product. Like, that was a phrase I heard again and again. And said, well, if I'm going to talk about this product, I love the science, but like I had to find a way why it would be beneficial for me. So when I had somebody show me how to use it, like the 4 steps, then not only did I change what it felt, but now I have all my kids using it. So my teenagers, they use it, right? And they always say, well, I'm out of this, I'm out of that. I love that they ask me for that, because what I know is they're going to put something on their skin, right? So right now, our families are putting something on their skin, they're putting something on their hair. And so when you look at what time, energy, and money you're putting in anything, just be honest with people. I had a conversation yesterday today about energy drinks. This girl, she's a college student. She was drinking this thing called, I hadn't really heard of it. So I'm like, what is that? So I look it up, right? And I see this got 300 milligrams of caffeine in it and a few other things. And I asked her, is that good for you? She's like, probably not, but I need it for focus. I said, gotcha. All right. So if there was a way to have better focus and energy and maybe even help it be healthier and it's cheaper, would you be open to looking at that? So listen to them. There's a college student, so she wasn't interested in business yet, right? She wasn't interested in a product, but she was already buying a product. So when people say this is expensive, we need to not skirt around that issue. Let's have a conversation, right? So what are people spending for their health care, right? What are they spending? You know what? A lot of them, guess what? What are they doing in the morning to get going? They're doing coffees. How much is that costing a day, right? What are they having for lunch, right? What are they doing currently with their vitamins and mineral routine, right? And you start adding that up, that's all part of their health care expenses. So when we can help them shift from how much it's costing them to how much it's saving them, it's a drastic shift in what they'll do. So in coming back to the conversation of the other products that we have the physique system, right? And I remember when they first would, I was having a conversation with someone in corporate one time when they were first looking at doing this, and it made me very nervous having a weight loss system. Because the thing about weight loss is that it's very cyclical. People lose weight, they get off the product. If they don't lose weight, they get off the product, right? So I wanted weight management, right? I didn't want weight loss, right? So when you look at what LifeVantage has done and the foundation of the weight loss that we want to focus on, it's really about improving metabolism, which means you got to improve systems, right? So when you look at the prebiotic and you look at the protein powder, okay, and you look at the fat burn, so looking at weight management, guys, we are not another company. Guys, we are a nutrigenomic biohacking company at a forefront of a breakthrough technology. That's what we are, right? So we don't have to skirt around that, and we are a network marketing company, right? Why do we do it that way? Guys, I have practiced for almost 20 years. I taught to train physicians for 25, and still we're making a dent, not even a dent, in people's healthcare and how we view the world. So we need a lot more people telling the story. So when you look at all these products, they're all designed to affect specific needs that people have. So you want to share that with them, what is possible for them, and help them paint that picture. So if people are looking for weight management, okay, and to improve how their body metabolizes and burn things, we're working on the system. So when you're taking the prebiotic, this is literally like the fertilizer for the seeds, right? So the probiotic, that's the seeds, right? So in your digestive tract, your intestinal tract has to have good soil. We know in farming, if you don't have the right soil, the right pH, and not enough nutrients, you don't get good fruit. So for people to lose weight and keep the weight off, they have to have a healthy intestinal tract. So in combining the prebiotic and the probiotic together, that's what you want to do in order for the body to be able to lose weight and keep it off. And then when people lose weight, and most people lose weight, they're losing not only fat, but they're losing muscle. So different diets, people say, well, I lost 20 pounds or 30 pounds or whatever, and then they quit the diet, and what happened? It came back plus some. So when we're using this system, we're affecting those systems to where we're actually improving metabolism. And then at the same time, you take a fat burn that literally works all day long to where it helps your body actually turn on the switches inside your body, specifically in the abdominal area. Then your body literally starts turning and burning that fat again, because that's what we want. But when you start burning the fat, we want to replace the fat with muscle. So that's why the protein. And people ask me all the time, why whey? Why are we using whey? Whey is a phenomenal nutrient, right? And this is the microfilter, so it's not heat processed. So we're using a very clean whey from a very clean source, and it's worldwide accepted, right? So when you take that physique system, help people lose the fat by turning on the genetic switches to lose the abdominal fat, and you're putting the right protein in, so when the body loses the fat, it can gain the muscle mass. So that combination with the Vitality Stack is brilliant, and if you use the Axial with it, guess what's going to happen? They have a lot less cravings. So when you look at what's in those products, you combine those, again, goes back to the idea of the synergistic effect across the board. So I want to talk a little bit more about some of the components in the products and why they're unique and different. Because one of the questions you're going to get is, why is your product this much? Why is it different? And so I want to talk about a couple of specific ones in relationship to the probiotic. So it's probiotics. You can look on the market and see a lot of different probiotics. You're going to hear this same story again and again. Yours doesn't have as much as this one does. Yours is more expensive than this one. So the question is, why is that? So when you look at the ProBio, what it is the technology. We talk about scientific breakthroughs, right? Talk about NRF2 activation, NRF1 activation. The same thing is true in every other industry when you're looking at the fat burn. LifeVantage is literally looking at opportunities to go in and find specific needs that are tied to this biohacking concept and attach it to a market. Okay, that people are looking for, that they're not getting the results that they need. So one of the great things about tapping into that space, like probiotics have been talked about by Dr. Oz and every other person on the planet, right? So then people know they need them, then which one are they going to do? And we all know we spend money on that which we value. So it's all about creating value in the products and why they're unique and why they're different and what they're doing, right? So when it comes to the ProBio, what's huge about that is that the probiotics that are in it are getting what they should. That's that patented technology and that Wellimmune. So you look at the price point of that. So if you look at the effectiveness, we know that most probiotics, when somebody takes them, most of it gets lost in the stomach acids. So roughly between 4 and 8%, roughly, is literally absorbed from a normal probiotic. So you're taking and you're getting like 4 to 8% of what you're getting into you to affect your whole digestive tract or whatever's going with you. Where with the ProBio, you're literally getting absorption rate of 60%. That's 1,500 times more, right, effective. So literally 15 times the effectiveness of the absorption to get it where, and on top of it, get it where it needs to. And then if you look at that and it combine what's called Wellimmune literally what regulates that immune system. Not too high, not too low, but working as it should. Over 70% of your immune system lives in your digestive tract. I think God did that for a reason. I think He knew we'd be stupid and eat stuff we shouldn't, so He wanted to put something there to help protect us, right? But if your digestive tract is not healthy, your immune system is not healthy. I just read a study on the airplane this morning talking about how in which the gut function has a direct tie into mitochondrial function. There's certain things and nutrients that are absorbed in the intestinal villi, and if it's broken down, it doesn't work. We cannot manufacture the energy we need to. So all of these things we talk about, the synergistic of an individual product and combined together, are synergistic in how they fit. So that tandem effect as we utilize them. So that Wellimmune, if you look at the price point of the probiotic, okay, we know it's $40, right? If you go on Amazon and you look at what's called Wellimmune, which is one of the patent ingredients in the ProBio, guys, that's $40 for the same dose, right? So you're getting a probiotic in a time release with Wellimmune, right? For at the same price as just the Wellimmune online. So when you're looking at what you're getting with LifeVantage, you're not only getting a probiotic that's going to change how the body functions in a much more effective way, but you're getting it for a phenomenal price point. Okay, then you look at other patent ingredients. So look at the hair care. If you're always wondering, what can I say about it, right? Look at what's been produced in your back office. In your back office and on your app are all these resources, one of which we were just talking about a minute ago about the hair care. It's on your app. It talks about one of the studies where there's a 58% improvement in the hair breakage on day 8. 33% improvement in the hair density, 38% improvement in the hair volume, 48% reduction in scalp dryness, 39% improvement of the appearance of healthy hair, 39% reduction in hair frizz, 44% increase in the hair shine, 42% increase in hair body. Right? Don't be afraid to have that on your phone. Don't be afraid to send that. Don't be afraid to pull up on your back office. All those things are there for you. So if you're not sure what it is, have the person that helped you with this, show you where it's at, save it on your phone. Like in my phone, I have all sorts of different studies. I have different stories, and I keep them in the notes section of my phone so I can very easily cut and paste and send them to people, right? People want information. They want something they can share. And when you're doing it that way, it allows people to share the right information. So when it comes to sharing and stories and sharing information, to make sure they're compliant. Remember, we're not making medical claims, but you got to help people see how it might be beneficial to them. There's tons of great information already on our apps, already in our back office. Learn to use the ones that are most effective and use those websites. One thing that I learned teaching Todd all the time is we can at a chiropractor, I can't say cure or treat anything. That's just that's medicine. Medicine can treat disease. I don't, right? But you learn to point to the studies. You learn to point to what things has. There's different cool websites out there. nf2science.com is another good one where you can literally use those things to help point people to resources. And when you're sharing stories, right? Same thing. You don't want to make medical claims. I want to come back and kind of circle back and looking at some of the way in which LifeVantage is creating product and some of the patents behind it, right? So remember how all this story started, right? The story started with NRF2. Right, that's literally where this began, and this true science, the number 4, right? And look where it's grown to, right? And look at the community of people that are now involved, and how that combining network marketing with an amazing way of making products is taking and affecting people's lives throughout the world. I was on a call the other day with a group of people, and just to hear the passion of people when they talked about what they've seen occur when people are activated through nutrigenomics and through NRF2, NRF1, and to hear their passion behind all that, right? So that's literally what we have our hands on. Again, I didn't realize how fun it would be as I work with teams and we educate each other to where, as a physician, I'm kind of selfish, but I love that feeling when somebody comes in and says, look, you've really helped me with this and this. I'd love that feeling because you feel like you had a piece in their life of actually changing things. I didn't realize how fun it would be when you get to be part of that ripple effect of somebody you never would have met. But I think about the thousands of kids' lives or people's lives that are different because I was willing to take a risk and do this because somebody believed in me, right? And so I want you guys to take that same passion and think, if you're like nervous about having a conversation with somebody, I want you to think from this angle is, what if you don't share it with them? What their life might look like, or what if you do share it with them and let that work in you to move you to share the products. Right? If you'll do that, we're going to change a lot of lives, and we can do it in such a way that's powerful. I've thought many times, I've actually had this conversation with people that I talked to, and said, you know what, how would you feel as a friend if I didn't share with you something that I thought would actually help you a lot, whether that's the product or the business, right? And if you start the conversation and that's your intent, they're going to feel that, right? And so as you get to know people and you have those conversations, you're going to be able to have that conversation much more effectively and easier, and it's going to help you and help them. Because I wouldn't be here if the products weren't real, right? I can go and formulate for other companies. I've had people reach out to me in that regard, but I've been in that model, right? As a physician, just to give you a little snapshot of where physicians are right now, my brother's an orthopedic surgeon, I have another brother's a dentist. Every year, insurance industries change to where we have to work harder or different to make the same money. My brother, who's a surgeon, literally has to see almost twice the people he saw 10 years ago to make the same money, right? And he loves being a surgeon. He loves helping people, right? But he is committed to 80 plus hours a week of work. I was joking with him the other day, and he's seen me take a little more time doing stuff with my family. He's like, you know, I'm glad I'm super happy for what you got. He said, but I said, well, you could do it with me, right? But he just can't wrap his mind around working with the normal people, he says. But he's starting to see the benefit of 5 years of work, right? Physicians are struggling in regard, most of them, they got into medicine literally because they wanted to help people. And they realized once they got there is that they're governed by a lot of different things, and their world of helping people is drastically affected by what the AMA or other things said about them. And so they are looking and open to opportunity of things that will help, but they need to be able to eventually see how they can do this as a business. And so stay in touch with them, right? Be friend with them, right? Share stories, right? Listen to them, right? And if you'll do that, there'll be some that'll open up to that opportunity. Because I think back of what my life looks like now because of what network marketing has done, not only the impact that I feel like we're able to make with people, but to be able to have income to where literally I can work, see patients a couple days a week, but I can actually take time and be fully present as a dad with my family because I'm not worried about running a business, dealing with employees, and doing those things that I have to do as a business owner. I can literally be more present with my family because as a father, I'm the best father possible when I'm not worried about money, right? And so network marketing has given me a way to create income that as I've had people teach and train me how to do that, and that's why I'm excited for you to hear Tara and listen to them and the other leaders as how they built the business. Because the reality is physicians are probably going to move a lot slower than moms, right? Because moms don't think through it the same way we do. We got to figure out all the why, what, and how, whereas moms just get it done, right? But that's who you want to team up with. You want to team up with, have passion, because if we're looking at really your business is a direct reflection upon how many people are taking the product, how many lives you're touching, we have an opportunity and really a responsibility to share these products with people and let them make the decision. They can biohack their body as much or as little as they want. We want to give them the opportunity to decide what that looks like. But come from a place of passion, come from a place of strong belief that just know there are no other products on the market that I know of that have the science that these do, that are answering the questions that these are answering, and tied to multiple industries that people are currently looking for answers. They're doing the best they can, whether they're taking an energy drink or whether they're taking a supplementation. They don't even know that nutrigenomics, biohackings, Protandim activation even exists. Give them that opportunity, but listen for what they need, listen for what they want, and ask them, hey, if there's a way for you to address some of the things you're saying, are you open to that? And you know what? Hey, if you're open to a way to get your products and to make money with it and help other people, are you open to that idea? And have that conversation. Because we have a blessing to share. We got to team up and work together in doing that. If we do that, we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun, and we're going to change a lot of lives and literally save a lot of people from a lot of pain.